Hi everyone. So I tried to go live and my internet sucks today. I'm not sure why. So I'm gonna record the video. I know y'all see this smoke. I got my incense burning right now because and I'm about to burn me some sage as well to get my mind right because I really wanted to go live with you guys so that I could interact with y'all, but evidently, the stars have something else in alignment regarding that. So I don't question things, y'all. I just go with the flow. So I'm gonna go ahead and clear this energy of what I'm feeling right now. And I'm gonna jump into the class, okay, y'all? So first of all, I'm gonna say that I got links above. And I know like a smoky mess up in here now, huh? I got to do it, those sisters. I got to do it, y'all. Up above this video, I'm gonna post some captions, some links to things I sell, like crystals, and crystal bundles that I have, and also to the chakra bracelets. I shamelessly promote myself, so I'm shamelessly promoting myself in this video as well, because I'm really trying to sell these bracelets. I have a lot. They're only $10. They're chakra bracelets. If you are not following me on my Facebook page, I am currently in the middle of doing a 7-part, 7-day series of Intro to the 7 Chakras. And today we are actually going to be on the throat chakra. Yesterday we did the heart chakra. So what I'm going to do in this particular video is probably incorporate some heart chakra information as well, along with us talking about self-love and talking about the rose quartz, if that's fine. Let me see. Just looking at the smoke going all over the place. So, first of all, those who watched last week, I want to tell y'all thank you so much. I appreciate y'all tuning in. I really enjoyed talking with you ladies. I'm upset that we couldn't talk this week. I'm going to work on that with my internet as far as what's the issue with me not being able to go live today. Who knows? You know, weird things happen all the time, and I am in the country, y'all, so who knows if that's why. So I wanted to talk about self-love today because today is Friday and each day is associated with a planet. So today is associated with the planet Venus and also with the goddess Frigga, and that goddess is over love and transformation, and also the goddess Aphrodite. So you know there's the Roman version and the Greek version with Aphrodite and Venus, but pretty much all of them are, you know, goddesses of love. And if we think about love and what it means to us, we always tend to think about loving other people. We don't necessarily think about love being necessarily for ourselves. So today we're going to talk about that. And we are going to figure out how we could work some self-loving in on Fridays for ourselves, even if it's just 5 or 10 minutes of self-loving. And that's kind of how it started, just 5 or 10 minutes. And then sometimes I will take the whole day from the moment everybody walks out the door in the morning, probably to even they get home. And I'm still kind of in the middle of doing something for me, specifically for me, to just love on myself and to make myself feel worthy of all it is that I want in life. So, self-love and getting on a path of healing through self-love is kind of going to be the theme of this whole conversation, because when you learn to love yourself and you give yourself the proper self-love, you then open yourself to a path of healing and wanting to heal, because that is a part of healing, learning to love yourself. Because so many times we give so much of ourselves to everyone else that we never stop and give anything to ourselves. Sometimes we love people so much that when it comes time to loving ourselves, we don't know how to love ourselves. And I'm going to interject and use myself for an example. So for majority of my adult life, I had a home care agency. And what we did was, well, we sent workers out to help with people who had, developmental disabilities and the elderly. And I put my heart and soul into this business. I did. I mean, I cherished every aspect of this business, and I cherished my people. I cherished my workers. I gave so much of me into it, and that's what my heart wanted to do. Also, in the midst of that, I was in, if you're familiar with Louisiana, I know that we do something called Mardi Gras down here. It's actually a holiday for us. And I was in a Mardi Gras club. And being in that club, I was what they call the captain. So I was basically over the club. I was in charge of everything. And so I was responsible for myself and a lot of people and a lot of things. And in giving so much of myself in both of these things, because I did the Carnival Club for 4 of the 10 years I had my home care agency. I gave so much of myself. I didn't take care of myself properly. I didn't know how to love myself. I didn't even stop to think about loving myself and what it was that made Shonda happy. And when I got to the point that I gave both up and I tried to love myself, I didn't even know how to love myself. And I have some things saved. This is what kind of woke me up. I want to read this to y'all. This is by Charlie Chaplin. And the first time I read it, I cried. But then it opened my eyes to I need to start taking care of me. But it says, as I began to love myself, I freed myself of anything that is no good for my health, food, people, things, situations, and everything that drew me down and away from myself. At first, I called this attitude a healthy egoism. Today, I know it is love of oneself. So the first time I read this, I was freeing myself of anything that's no longer good for my health. And in that moment, I was like, I don't even try to think what could be affecting my health. During this time, I suffered with high blood pressure, extremely high blood pressure, stress, hair was falling out, just all of these physical manifestations occurring in my body. Not thinking twice that maybe it's because I'm not taking care of me enough. I'm not loving myself enough to make sure my health and well-being are fine. And so I basically didn't take care of me properly. And when I read this for the first time, it was very, very emotional. And I cried. And it kind of opened my eyes to well, you know something, I need to kind of get back to me, or I can't even say get back to me because was I even there with her, So I need to figure out who I am. And I had to sit with myself. And this is the beginning path of my healing. And that's why I say self-love is so important to that. I had to ask myself, what makes me happy? What do I want for my life? And most importantly, do I love myself? And then asking me those questions to myself, I realized that I didn't love myself. I didn't. And I didn't know how to properly love myself. As a matter of fact, I found a lot of faults in myself, a lot of negativity about myself. I couldn't see any good in myself. And I didn't realize that until I started actually questioning these things because people all the time, they would say, I look up to you and this and that. And I would be like, no, don't look up to me. I'm nobody. And I would really say this. And they would be like, this look like, because I couldn't see who I was back then. I couldn't, all I was just was moving. And I never stopped to actually look at me and to appreciate me. And so in trying to find that person that others seen in me, it was so difficult because I honestly didn't see the positive of myself, despite all that I did for other people. So, first of all, I want you to ask yourself those important questions. Do I love myself? What makes me happy? What brings me joy? And do I care about myself? So, with self love, you have to get to the point that you are falling in love with taking care of yourself. You're falling in love with wanting to take care of your skin or wanting to take care of your body health wise. If you have any health conditions, not just going with the flow of things and not stopping to be like, how can I get to the root of whatever it is I'm suffering so I could truly heal and take care of myself. So you have to fall in love with that, even emotionally. Fall in love with, making sure your mind is always in the right frame of mind. Fall in love with knowing that you are in a positive emotional state. It may not be all the time because we're human, but for the most part, fall in love with the importance of always being aware of who you are and what makes you tick and what makes you happy. Don't focus on who you were, but focus more on who you are. Sometimes when we focus on who we were, we focus on those negative aspects of ourselves. We focus on who we were when we weren't in such a great space at that time. We focus on our flaws and our faults and the negative parts of us and the things of us that we constantly criticize and critique about ourselves. And if you are on a path of healing, know that you are not that person anymore because, first of all, you took the initiative to even want to heal. So in saying that, don't focus on that negative. Begin to dig up and look for positive aspects of yourself. And who you're becoming, because you are becoming somebody very beautiful and somebody very amazing. And I'm going to rephrase that. You've always been somebody very beautiful. You've always been somebody very amazing. And now you are discovering who you were. So be proud of yourself and focus on those positive aspects of yourself. The fact that you even want to heal, because some people never put their place in a position of even wanting to heal or attempting to heal. Let's see what else I have for y'all. This is another thing about self-love I want to read to y'all. A relationship should never come above and before your own inner happiness, peace, and stability. It is so important that you find and strengthen a connection and relationship between yourself and your higher and inner self before you try to find a connection or a relationship with someone else. Until you do, you'll end up seeking their love, acceptance, and validation rather than loving, validating, and accepting yourself. Know that your worth and value isn't defined by what happened in the past or even by how others treat you in the present. It is defined solely by you. So, a lot of times when we don't love ourselves, we tend to look for love in other people. Like, I need you to love me. I need you to validate me. I need you to tell me who I am. And you should never expect that from another person for them to define what love is for you, what love is within you, or any type of validation. That is not for others to do, because everybody has their own perception about things, and what you view to be love may not be their view of love. So in saying that, they could say something that is not in alignment with you and could really affect how you view yourself. So don't ever look for others to be the one to tell you how you should love yourself and who you should be in this world. That's for you to figure out. And in doing that, learning to figure out what your purpose is. So let's see. Another thing to do is challenging the negative story of yourself. So we all are guilty of it, of creating this image of ourselves sometimes as a negative image, or I'm a horrible person, or I'm stupid, or this and that. Start to challenge those beliefs and those words that you tell yourself. If you tell yourself, I'm worthless, well, why are you worthless? Do you really feel like you're worthless? Especially like if you have children, you aren't worthless because you are very worthy to them. You are somebody they depend on. So if you start to, and this all comes with reshaping your thoughts and retraining your mind, and you need to take those negative thoughts and that negative story and make it a positive one, because you are a beautiful and divinely created creature here on planet Earth, here on Mother Gaia. And so you have a purpose, you have a reason, and you are worthy, and you should rewrite your story. You have the right to do that. And that's really what I feel like I did. I rewrote my story. And in the midst of rewriting my story, those people in my life who felt I should put them first probably felt that, who does she think she is? What about me? But you know what? My story isn't about you anymore. My story is about me. And you have to get to that point. Let's see. Some tips for self-love. Become more mindful. So become more mindful, meaning be more mindful of the thoughts you keep and the words you speak specifically about you. Be more mindful of your surroundings. Be more mindful of situations and people who put you in a place or a thought process that makes you not want to love yourself or question the love that you do have for yourself. Practice good self-care. Okay, that's another one. Let's see, what did I write? Okay. Self-care, this is a quote I found, y'all. Self-care is giving the world the best of you instead of what's left of you. Okay? You can't pour from an empty cup. When you take care of yourself, you become the best version of yourself. And then you are able to not only love, but you show others how you expect to be loved, how you want to be loved, and that you won't settle anything less than that love that you expect. Protect yourself and your energy. Avoiding negative situations, people, y'all, is so important, especially now. The more that I find that people are waking up, because even though people are waking up, or however you want to define it, are becoming more conscious, and they are waking up, but there has been no ego death in some of them. And so it's saying that they still allow their ego to lead them a lot of times. And even though they may be conscious in the aspect of having an understanding, those negative qualities and aspects of themselves, they still carry. And so many of them are still vibrating in a negative energy. So don't think just because people seem educated and they know what they're saying and that they are always positive and right, because I've seen people who are very educated, who really are knowledgeable and know a lot about the esoteric and the occult and all of these things, and are very just heartless and have nasty attitudes and are very negative. And that's because they're leading with their ego and they're not necessarily leading with love. Forgive yourself. How hard is this? So as I was going through my self-love journey in the beginning, because it's still a journey, it's a continuous journey for me, but in the beginning, as going through it, I realized there was so much that I didn't forgive myself about, just with different people, things about myself personally, things that may have happened with others who may have forgiven me, and I would still just constantly go back to not wanting to forgive myself about these particular situations. And so what's important is we need to learn how to forgive ourselves. We are our biggest critics. We could be our own worst enemy at times, because we will play things over and over and over in our minds and not forgive ourselves. So you need to work on forgiving yourself, because the way we treat ourselves, the way we view ourselves, the way we project ourselves to be, it sets the foundation on how we give permission to other people on how to treat us in a way. So if you are constantly down on yourself and you're constantly negative on yourself and you're unforgiving on yourself, people will look at you like, well, I'm going to treat her just like she treats herself. I mean, she can't forgive herself about something, so why should I forgive her? And, just different things like that. So, and work on forgiving yourself to bring your own self-peace. Yesterday I talked about, because like I said, I discussed the heart chakra, and part of that was about forgiveness of others, and how forgiveness of others is not necessarily because you care whether they forgive you or not, but it's that forgiveness of releasing that so that you can have peace within yourself. Because when we don't forgive and we hold on to resentment, it's like swallowing a poison and waiting for that person to die. And so we just hold on to that anger and that and not wanting to forgive, but you forgive for you. It's not even about the other person. When you're on a path of healing, it is about you. Everything you do is about you. Man, when I say that, I'm not saying it that for in a selfish way, you. But I'm saying that because what others do and what others think about you and your path has absolutely nothing to do with you. Okay? And live intentionally. Have a purposeful life. You want to live on purpose. You want to wake up and know that you have a purpose. And in doing that and loving yourself more, you become more aware of your purpose. So some people are always like, well, how do I know my purpose? How do I find my purpose? What is my purpose is? Can you tell me my purpose? And I say that nobody can tell you your purpose. You have to get to the core of yourself and love yourself to be able to figure out, well, what my purpose is. Because once you love yourself, you start to realize what it is that you love, what brings you joy, what brings you pure bliss into your life. And these things put you on a path to figuring out your purpose, understanding your purpose, and then walking in your purpose. So, and the benefits of loving yourself is less anxiety and depression. And I will say, in the beginning of trying to love myself, I am somebody who, I can openly talk about this now, has dealt with depression a great deal of my life, even though people may look at me and be like, you? Yes, me. And I still deal with it. I actually recently had, I like to call them episodes because my depression does not define me, okay? But I had a patch of a moment for a few days. And I do feel like before I really got into loving myself and focusing on myself more, it was very difficult to get through those depressive states. But now in loving myself, I know that I have purpose. And I try to have a purpose. So I live purposely. Like I said, have a purposeful way of living. And so I'm able to pull myself through or push myself through easier when I'm feeling like that. So things aren't as hard for me when I find myself feeling depressed, because I use that time to like try to get to the root of why I'm feeling depressed. And even if it's not a Friday, I use the opportunity to like, you know what? I need some type of nurturing. I need to be loved. And so I figure out how to love on myself and just interject more self-love into my being when I'm going through those moments. You become more optimistic. You have a more positive view in life. And you have a better recovery of stress because you learn how to manage stress better. I'm going to have to definitely agree with that. I just feel like when you completely stop worrying about other people and their views of you, and you put your place in a space of loving yourself, then you do have less stress, and just you have a shift. This major energy shift goes on in your life. So if you ain't loving on yourself, y'all, find something to do today to love on yourself. So I wanted to say all of that, and I'm gonna go into the heart chakra just a little bit, and then we're gonna get into what this class is about the rose quartz, and using the rose quartz, incorporating it into this with all this self-loving, right? So the heart chakra, it controls our heart, okay? It's not controls, but associated with the heart, with love, with compassion, with forgiveness, and different things like that. And when you have an imbalance, you're dealing with imbalances project themselves as anger, grief, hatred, jealousy, feelings of loneliness, inability to forgive, and leading with your head, not your heart. Because your heart comes from a place of love, your head can be quick to react. So when you are somebody who's quick to go off without trying to be empathetic to others, then yeah, you have some type of imbalance going on. And things that could cause your heart chakra blockages are breakups, of course, when your heart gets broken, loss and grief, loss of a loved one, health issues, because health issues are stressful when we're dealing with them, low self-esteem, and when you have low self-esteem, of course, you're not loving yourself properly, and personal struggles. So when you're going through things, this can lead you to have a heart chakra blockage, because when you are dealing with personal struggles, you might not necessarily find the positive in situations, and you may be beating yourself up about things. And that's what I mean about rewriting your story. Remember when I told y'all that? Challenge the negative story of yourself when you are feeling like this. And this can help with clearing your heart chakra. And you can watch my video on my page. I'm not about to go deep into this, but I just want to show y'all how they are associated with each other, and how you could work with not only working on self-love, but also with opening your heart chakra if you feel you deal with any of these issues. And if you aren't loving yourself properly, giving yourself the self-love you need, I'm willing to say yes, you probably do have a heart chakra blockage. So you can go watch that video on my page. So we talked about self-love here. And now we're going to talk about using the rose quartz and incorporating that with self-love. So last week, if you watched my video, I told y'all I wanted this big, beautiful rose quartz that I had seen. I didn't get a chance to go buy it. So, but I have this though. And this is a rose quartz ring. And when I got it, I actually got this from somebody on Facebook, one of the Facebook businesses. They do auctions for these. Copper Vibrations, if y'all follow them. She does like flash sale auctions, her and her husband. And they create jewelry like on the spot. It's so cool. And when I seen this rose quartz, I'm like, oh my gosh, that's mine. And I immediately wanted. So I know this baby was meant to be with me. But when I got the rose quartz, and I did, you know, show you cleanse and you program your crystals like we talked about last video, I immediately felt connected with this rose quartz. It's my first time working with rose quartz, okay, y'all, personally. And I immediately felt the energy. I put my fingers like this so I could feel the crystal. I felt the energy from this crystal. The energy I feel from it, it is a very loving type energy. It's very peaceful. Like I slept with it under the pillow. And I had beautiful dreams. And I know you're probably like, yeah, that's not true. Yes, it is true, y'all. Yes, it is. I had some really beautiful dreams about relationships I've had with different people throughout my life, even down to childhood. But it was like the loving aspects of this relationships. I can't even describe not necessarily what I've seen in my dreams, but the emotions I felt throughout it. I actually remember waking up last night because I was wondering, like, was that a dream, or was I really, you know? So it could have been kind of like some lucid dream going on, or even some astral traveling. I don't know, but this crystal brought me to another place, and I woke up in a really great mood, and I feel the love from it. And so rose quartz. And so y'all see, I'm in a different place, so I'm not in front of the computer now. So if I forget some things, I'm gonna have to go back up and edit this video. But what I want to say about the rose quartz is they have been used in love rituals for centuries. This is just some back history of it. The Egyptians believed they prevented wrinkles. So rose quartz, roses. Let me tell y'all a little bit about that, because I make my own. I just started making my own rose oil. But I made some rosehip oil, but I do use rose oil. And if you didn't know, rose oil is excellent for your skin, for rejuvenating your skin, getting rid of wrinkles. So I could see how the rose quartz could be associated with it. If you've ever seen those rollers people use in their crystals, like I've seen a jade, but I've also seen the rose quartz ones recently. And those, if you use them, it's supposed to help with wrinkles. So I could see why that was a belief of the ancient Egyptians. And if they believe that, and if that's still a belief today, evidently there's some type of truth to that. Because we know, like we talked about, crystals carry vibration. All right. And so I could see why the vibration and the frequency could have some kind of physical effects of relieving those lines in your skin. You know? Of course, the rose quartz is a stone of love. It brings your consciousness to a higher level of love and acknowledging love and appreciating love and showing love to others as well as yourself and being compassionate. It allows you to recognize your own need for compassion. And that's why I wanted to incorporate rose quartz today with the talk of self-love, because if you are somebody who's hard on yourself, consider wearing some rose quartz, because it can help bring that energy into your life, into your vibration, into your aura of wanting to be more compassionate about towards yourself, wanting to be more forgiving to yourself. And it's also associated with the element of water. And so the sacral chakra is also associated with the element of water as well. And the element of water carries the vibration of emotions. So just like I was about to start doing some moon talk, but I'm trying to see how that could even associate with this. But when you think about the element of water, you think about emotions, fluid, flowing, you know. And so the rose quartz is associated with that because it's basically helping you with your emotions, the emotion of love. It also helps to wash out toxic energy. So if there's any toxic energy lingering in your heart, or it, you know, what I noticed with crystals, that they can be so powerful that they have the energy to actually push away things that aren't good for you, like black tourmaline, y'all. Like tourmaline is a very powerful crystal. It will really keep people away from you if they are extremely negative. I'm a living witness to that. I have it all over my house. And when I first used it, I noticed that a lot of the negativity that would be around was no longer around. So it's just something to think about with the black tourmaline. But with the rose quartz, it washes out toxic energy. So maybe it could be toxic love, even the buildup of toxic heartbreak, you know, those type of heartbreak, those toxic energies, like the blockages I talked about with the heart chakra, like the breakups, the loss, and all of that. It can help with the dealing with those type of energies, carrying a rose quartz, because it's going to bring more of a loving energy into your life. And also with working with feminine energy is good with that. I call all of you ladies, sisters, goddesses, because all of you are goddesses to me. And I don't know if that makes some people uncomfortable, but I mean, they could just tell me if they don't like to be called a goddess. But I love calling you all goddesses. And so working with a rose quartz can help you to connect more with your divine feminine energy. Let's see. Other crystals to work with on the day of Venus are jade, lapis lazuli, coral, emerald, and malachite. And like I said with jade, going back to what I said about the ancient Egyptians and using crystals for wrinkles, and I told y'all they have a rollerball, and the one I seen with jade, so I could see the connection with the jade and the rose quartz. And lapis lazuli was also a crystal used in ancient Egyptian times as well. So that is about it. I think this video has been kind of long, but you know, I just think that if you are, let me show y'all one other crystal too as well. So this is a unakite. This is another good love crystal. And unakite is good for love and compassion. And it's also good when dealing with relationships, wanting to bring love more into relationships. So you can probably use both of these together, and it can be very, very powerful together. And this is also a great crystal for fertility and for pregnancy. So pregnant moms, it's good to carry unakite. And this crystal was actually gifted to me. I don't know why, because at the time I'm like, I'm not trying to have no baby. I don't know why. But I felt the love of the crystal with working with unakite. So unakite is another really amazing crystal to use, y'all. Just wanted to let y'all know that. So some takeaways with all of this was, I know I talked a lot about self-love, and I also said this was a crystal class, but I just want y'all to get on a path of really loving yourself if you're not doing it properly. This particular group that I made this video for, the healing grounds. So it's all about us healing ourselves. In a intricate, vital, a very important part of healing is self-love. It's our foundation. You know, it's a very, very important part of the healing process, because if you can't love yourself, then how can you even want to heal yourself? You have to start with loving me and knowing that I deserve better, you know. So, if you have any questions about the rose quartz, I know I talked again a lot about self-love, but it is so important to me, because I was so lost and I didn't even know how to love me. And getting on a path to loving me, and a continuous path to loving me, man, it's opened my heart up to so many things and so much understanding. And I feel like, well, I was an empathetic person at first, because I do feel like I am an empath as well, but I feel that I'm even more empathetic towards others, even sometimes those who we feel don't deserve our empathy. You know. So I hope this video has been informative. Oh, I know I wanted to tell y'all some different ways to use your rose quartz. Use it during meditation, y'all, so you can actually, and that's what I did last night. Even though it's wrapped, I held it and I meditated with it for a little while. And you could wear it like I just was wearing it. You could bathe with your crystals. I don't know, remember if I told y'all last week about bathing with crystals, but if you can't, you get selenite wet, first of all, but you could bathe with your crystals, and the energy is getting infused into the water, so it helps you take the energy of that crystal, not just your rose quartz, but other crystals as well. And I love putting my crystals in my bath water, especially like if I'm really doing like a herbal spiritual bath or a herbal spiritual cleansing bath. I like to put the crystals in there. I like to put as much energy as I can. So, you know, I light the candles, I put my salt, I put my herbs, I put my crystals, incense, all of that good stuff. You can make gem water, and with gem water you can use it. So remember I told y'all last week about creating on the new moon, cleansing on the full moon. So with the new moon, you can make your gem water. You know, you don't have to wait till the new moon, but it's good because, you know, there's a time of setting intentions, and you can use it just as a spray. And you could be misting this on yourself. You could be misting it around you. Go miss somebody who you think needs some love, whomever. You know, I like making gem waters. I actually drink them sometimes, y'all. When you're doing candle work, you could also use your crystals. If you don't use crystals in your candle work, I do. So, I mean, I set up my candles and I may put crystals around there. So if you're working on anything having to do with love, you're doing self-love work for yourself, try to incorporate some love crystals in there, like rose quartz, like the unakite, like the jade, and other ones that I mentioned. You could create crystal grids. I'm just starting to get into crystal grids. They're pretty fun. Learning how to work all that energy together and aligning that energy. So I've been playing around with that. So crystal grids is another thing you could do. And decorating your sacred space in your house. That is my goal. I plan on having crystals. I mean, I have them kind of like everywhere, like little crystals, but I do want to decorate more and feng shui my house. If y'all know what feng shui is. With crystals, and just help that energy to flow all throughout. So if you have a little sacred space in your home, or like, you know, a little meditation spot, or just by your altar, consider putting some rose quartz on there to help bring in an energy of love and to remind you of the importance of self-love and compassion and forgiveness. So again, I'm sorry, y'all, that, wait, hold up. Let me shamelessly promote myself, because I don't remember if I did in the beginning, but I'm about to do it again. So I have these yarny seams. And why am I shamelessly promoting yarny seams? Because when I do my self-care regimen or ritual, whatever you want to call it, I do yarny seams. I actually make these, y'all. I do service like a lot of my local women, but I can ship as well. If interested, you just have to let me know. Drop in a DM. I'm gonna put the link to it as well at the top. But I do this. So what I do is I may get up in the morning This is just an example. Like I told you, I do something different all the time. And I'm going to set myself up to do my V-seam. And after I set myself up to do my V-seam, I actually take the boiled herbs after the V-steam, and because it is my yoni, I take the boiled water and I take those herbs and I then dump them into a spiritual cleansing bath, okay? And I just sit in there and I just, you know, put on my Erykah Badu or my little mix, my little playlist, and I really just, you know, take it all in. And so not only am I steaming my yoni, but I'm also using the same herbs to cleanse my aura and my energy as well. So the benefits of doing a yoni steam are tighter vagina walls, increased moisture, the wet, increased sex drive. Oh yes, I've been feeling like I am up in my early 20s again. Also, but it's good for health reasons as well, such as fibroids and cysts, irregular and heavy periods, yeast infections, bacterial vaginosis. It's also great for menopausal women. And when you order, I have, these are part of, because I'm creating a product line based off the chakras, because I'm a chakra healer. And I love teaching on the chakras. So this is a part of my sacral energy healing collection. And I also have these. It comes bigger, but when you order one of these, I include a sample of this as well. And this is my second product of my sacral energy healing. And it's called Cramps Be Gone. You use it during your menstrual. If you experience cramps, you rub it on your abdomen. You don't have to use a lot. Like this may be enough to actually do maybe 2 or 3 uses out of it. You rub it on, preferably after getting out of a hot bath or a hot shower when those pores are open, so you could take the oil in good. But you also can rub these on your pressure points daily because the herbs I use are good with balancing your hormones. So, and I also have my chakra bracelets. They're $10, I think it's above. So I thought I would just throw that in there. So that is it, y'all. I hope this video has been informative. I'm going to work on my internets. I'm not sure when I'll be doing another one of the crystal classes because I'm getting into doing some other things that I will keep y'all posted about. But those other things will be educational as well. It just may be in a different platform or a different way, I guess you could say. So my beautiful goddesses, y'all be blessed. Homework, if you want to call it that. Go ahead and do something special for yourself. Do something in regards to self-love. Go love on you today, okay? Love y'all.